Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make this beautiful necklace. So the main component to these necklaces are the rhombus beads that I got at John Bead. When I was in Toronto, I had the opportunity to go through the wholesale store. So the wholesale store is open to everybody. It's open to the public. And they also have one in Blasdell, New York. And I just wanted to let you know, I just got my email from like the announcement for the stores, both the Canadian one and the US one. And in the US one, in Blasdell, New York, they are having a bunch of classes, and it's amazing the classes they have some Christmas ornament classes, and like all the beads are included, all the materials are included in it, and there's multiple colors available. The price is like ridiculous. It was only $20 for a like Christmas ball ornament, and then there's a star ornament or snowflake, however you want to look at it, and that one was $16. They also have like a fall earring leaf teaching you how to do peyote workshop or class, and I can't remember what the price of that one was, but again, just amazing. The other thing, both of the stores have all the new Celine beads available, so you can check that out if you're close by or if you want to do like a fun road trip. And right now they're having a 50% off everything that's black, purple, orange, and green for their October kind of Halloweeny sale. So that's pretty cool. So let me just quickly say too, they have what they call a bead bar. So they have a bunch of bins, and it's all items that were like that they no longer sell in the wholesale side of things. So they've done bead mixes, and if you didn't see the video where I did the unboxing of all the lovely stuff that I got from the wholesale store, you should take a look. These little cups are part of the bead. I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, you can fill one of these cups and the bead bar, sorry. Fill one of these cups. It doesn't look like a lot, and it's only $5 to fill a cup. They come with little lids. I had to show you because I have since, the beads are a bead mix. So I have since sorted through the rhombus beads because I picked mostly all the rhombus bead colors, and I sorted them for each color so I could do these necklaces and these bracelets. And now I have them in these are 50-gram containers, and you wouldn't think that that's going to fit in that, but I have to show you because you're not going to believe it. It's not even full. Look. So this is 100-gram container. So of course I still have like those beads, and then the beads over here that I used for the necklace that we're going to be making. And it had all the different color beads on top of that. So yeah, crazy deal for $5. So I had to show you that because I look at it and I can't believe it. And I was there. So let's talk about this stitch. So there is a video out there on how to do this stitch. And I think I had this one as the display. And these were ones that we got in our Curiosities box. And then I used the blue to show the demonstration. So I did a few strip like sets of these to show you how that's put together. So what I did was I thought, what would happen if we changed out the size of this bead and that bead? What would it do? And when I was making it too, so when it was like this, before I added the top and bottom beads, you could see if you put it together like this, it would go rounded. So I thought, why don't we put a small bead here and a large bead at the bottom and create a necklace? And kind of as an homage to the new box that's coming out, the Marie Antoinette box. I found that these turned out so amazing. They look so regal. And they're so easy to make. Look at that. That turned out amazing. So these little, I think these are 3 millimeter fire polish in there. Let's enlarge this. So there's the 3 millimeter, and then I used a 4 millimeter pearl as the alternate. So you could change it up to whatever sizes you want. You could make this a 4 millimeter and this a 6 millimeter. That would still work. And then I attached some 6 millimeter, 2 strands of 6 millimeter pearls, and then brought it around to the back to these lovely clasps. You can get these online through AliExpress. And I did, because of the way this goes around, you have to remember that you need an extra bead on the outside strands to create that rounded look. Otherwise it will look puckered in the middle. So there's the red one, and this was the first one I made. This looks very Caribbean. What do you think? Turquoise and then the copper. So this turned out really nice. So we're going to make one. That's what you're here for. You're like, okay, Emma, enough of the announcements. Let's go. So I went ahead and made a strand. You use 14 of the rhombus beads. So let's see. I'm going to just review for you. If you need more extensive explanation on how to create this piece, you can go back to the bracelet demonstration, and I'll put the link in the description. I'll put the link in the description as well for the John Bead wholesale stores. And you should really, if you're interested, get their emails. So we need some super duos. These are 3 millimeter Aztec gold. So that's the other thing. This one is matte metallic flax, Aztec gold, and silk light gold 11 seed beads. And you're going to need some. So you may not need these 15 O's. The reason I have 15 O's is the original design with the necklace. I use these check glass beads, the 11 O's, and they're slightly smaller than these ones. These ones are very rounded. Let me get my needle so you can see them. So you can see they're a little more rounded. So I found it got really tight in this area. So I alternated one of the beads for a 15 O. So if you're using other beads that are smaller, you don't need the 15 O's. Anywhere that I ask for a 15 O, just substitute it for an 11 O. So that's that. And we're going to use some John Bead good thread. Look at, I'm at the end of my spool. No worries about this. This is just where the thing started, the spool. But this bead is just amazing. Or bead thread. This is the good thread from John Bead. I'll put the link for that as well. You can get this at Michael's. And you can get it on Amazon too. I think you probably get it at Michael's for a good price, because they always have coupons. Us beaders like our coupons. And if you're in the States, if you're a veteran or a teacher, I think you can get a discount. And don't forget your seniors discount too at Michael's. I sound like a commercial. I'm not being paid at all by Michael's. Okay, so let's get started. And then we're going to do, actually, we might as well start with the rhombus bead. So in case you're not familiar with them, they're holes. They look like a diamond shape, and the holes go through the sides like that. So we'll just pick that up. Then you're going to pick up 2 11/0s, a 3mm bead, round bead, then 2 more 11/0s. So that's what you should have on your needle. We're going to bring this down to the bottom. Now I was going to do a stop bead. You can do a stop bead. I just found that it slid around too much for my liking, and everything is kind of dependent on the strand of your beading thread, so it's probably better to get it secure. So I'm just going to put a second knot. Just be careful it doesn't go over any of the beads, which I can see it's wanting to do. Oh, I suck at making knots. So that's what you should have. I'm going to do another knot. It's probably not necessary, but I do not want this to come apart, especially during a video. So I'm just going to cut that. And now I'm going to go through the hole. And let's bring the camera down a bit. So bring that down. And you can hide your thread in there. There. Okay, now we're going to pick up 1 11/0, 3 super duos, 1 11/0, and then go down the other hole. So you're coming out of this hole, go down the other hole, and let them fan out like that. Like that. We're going to add the other side, the same thing. So 1 11/0, 3 super duos, 1 11/0. We're going to go down through the other hole. Just be careful not to get stuck in your knot there. And bring your thread through like that and pull it tight. So now we're going to go through, I'm just going to flip it to make it easier to hold on to. I'm going to go through these beads here, so the 11/0, the 3 super duos, the 11/0, and then I'm going to come through the rhombus and add this section onto that side. So you do pass through your bead several times, and that helps secure it, and it gives it some structure as well. Just because of the super duos, you do have to go through like a couple of, like 1 bead and then maybe 2. And you can see that one got loose, so just remember to just kind of pull that tight. So now we're coming out of the rhombus bead. We're going to add 2 11/0s. Actually, you know what? So you see how this is really sticking out? So I should be adding a 15 instead. So I would add, let's take that 3mm off. So I would add, I'm going to do the same on this side just because we've already done it. But I would normally add an 11/0, a 15, the 3mm, then a 15 and the 11/0. I should show you how the difference in it. Let's see what that looks like. So you see how this is now nicely snug up to the rhombus bead, but this one sticks out a bit. So it's up to you. Now that we are going to pass through it again, so these beads will nicely like come down like this. I think I don't recommend this, but I'm going to leave it on there, see how it works out. So now we're just going to go through everything again. Yeah, I had to do this in 2 steps here. So going through everything again too, what that does is these, you can see these are not stitched together because we use the rhombus bead to go through. So that's what this process does, is it brings everything together so it looks seamless. I'll do that separate. There. Looks wonky now, don't worry. We'll get that straightened out. Go through all of these. So I think, if you're going to describe this design, probably the passing through everything again is the one thing you do the most. But it makes a huge difference because when I was designing it, I was surprised at how flippy floppy it was, and it didn't look like it all sat together well. So actually, now that I'm looking at this, oh yeah, no, you can see how these are the 11/0s right here. So you see how they stick out, but these ones are flush. So we are going to go through this side and come out of this 3mm so we can add the next unit. And as you can see, I can't count because I only left out 6 super duos on my mat. So I'll have to get those guys out. Okay, pass through this one. There. So now you're ready for the next unit. Let's get some more super duos here. These are my favorite color super duos. I'll leave one. I have to show you something. When I was doing the design, I came across this super duo. It has some gold smudge. I was like, ooh, they gave me a little extra. I could, when I went to pick it up, it was like, I had like gold on my fingers. So it looks like it's like a dried coating of something. You see the silly things that excite me. Okay, so since we have a 15/0 on this side, we're going to add 15/0. So you can decide what you want to do. You could just do the 11s, but that kind of popping out bothers me. So that's why. So let's pick up an 11 or a 15/0 to go next to the 3mm bead. Then we're going to need an 11/0. We need our next unit of our rhombus bead. And it doesn't matter which side you pick up your rhombus bead because it's going to flip in the correct side anyway. So, of course, if this is going to flip this way, we need an 11/0 and a 15/0. And the best way to remember, because I actually mixed this up earlier, is the 11 or the 15 O's go next to the 3mm all the time. I mean, you could put them in different orientation, but that's the other thing about beaders. We do a lot of counting. We're very smart. And we're a little bit OCD when it comes to where things are supposed to go. Just going to flip that. It's weird. It's like it's stuck on something. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to pass through these beads here and through the rhombus bead again. Don't worry, it's all loosey-goosey. That'll tighten. Just like that. And again, it'll straighten out in a second. So now we're at the top, so we're going to add our lovely fanning super duos. Probably my all-time favorite bead, as well as color. So pick up an 11-0 and 3 super duos and an 11-0. Go to the next hole, come down, and just hang on to your thread. Need an 11-0 and 3 super duos and an 11-0. You're coming out of this hole, we're going to go down this hole and across to the top. That. Now we're going to pass through these super duos, so the 11-0, the super duo, that. Go through the next two here. And don't forget to pass through the 11-0. You're going to go through the rhombus bead, and I'll tell you, you could go through the 11-0 and then add the next section. But I prefer to use the larger bead as the stabilizer. So if you pass through it and then add the next unit, it will give it a lot more strength. And it also creates a way to kind of cinch these guys. So let's do that. So let's pick up two 11-0s, a 3mm, and two 11-0s. That. We're going to go through this hole and come back down. That. Just like that. Oh, I was supposed to put the 15 O's. Let's do that. And I think I've knotted my thread here. Let's do that. Nothing like showing you how to do something wrong. Oh, it's my life. I used to joke that my life was a Lucille Ball sitcom. Oh my God, some of the stuff that would happen to me, I'm like, why? Why is this happening to me? So pick up an 11-0, a 15-0, your 3mm round bead, then a 15-0, then 11-0, then go through. One time I had family over for Thanksgiving, and somebody thought they were going to do me a favor and load the dishwasher. So we're watching TV, and I had two dogs, and it was like a condo, so the kitchen was open, kind of an open concept, so you could kind of see what was going on in the kitchen. And so I'm sitting on the couch, and I see the dogs. They're licking something on the floor, and they're sitting on the carpet side of the kitchen's on the other side, and they're licking what's in the kitchen, right? And they're licking the floor, and I'm like, what are the dogs licking? Okay, so we're going to come out here, and this, you're going to continue this for 14 units. Now you can make this longer if you want, or shorter. You could do like a short little thing and maybe put some chain on. That would be lovely too. So that's what you're going to do till you have this guy. Oh, so this is 14 units. I look, and what it was, the person had put dish detergent in the dishwasher. The whole kitchen floor had about 3 feet of foam from the dishwasher. I was like, oh my God. Thanks for your help. The dogs thank you too. I go believe they were licking it up. Yep. Oh, that's just, that's a, going down a rat hole, talking about the dogs. The kind of craziness that I got with the dogs was something else. Okay, so now we have this lovely piece. We're going to add thread on both sides, but we'll do each side separate. I should have done one side, but I'm trying to decide which. I think we'll just continue with the John Bead good thread. So I'm going to take a wingspan. The reason I'm kind of pausing for that, I've got actually more than a wingspan, is because we're going to add 2 strings of pearls on each side, and I want to make sure there's enough to go through several times. So because we're going to reinforce the pearls. We'll string this one side. The one time I had 2 dogs. One dog was a really old dog, and I could see there was a problem with one of his her teeth. So I should have left the other dog at home. It was a corgi. I wasn't thinking. So I drove to the vets, and of course they see the dog. They're like, no, we need to take the dog in and do surgery to remove what's left of the tooth, and we'll biopsy it and stuff like that. The whole time the dog is being assessed. So we're going to go through, actually I'm going to get a stop bead for this. Yeah, stop bead. We're going to add our beads this way before. I was getting ahead of myself. So let's put a stop bead, kind of a loose one. And I'm going to put that kind of halfway down. That. Okay. So, and of course I put away the beads. We need to put some here. So let me show you the other one, how I did it. I don't know if you can see those as well. Okay. So you're going to put 4 seed beads, 11 seed beads, up to the first super duo. And then you're going to put seed beads in there. That's what I was forgetting. So we do need these guys. We need quite a few, so. Oh, probably not that much. Anyway, the dog was barking, the one that I left in the car, and we had a stick shift. Do you see where this is going? And I was parked on a hill. So the whole time the doctor's doing the assessment, here are the tiny 3mm fire polish that we're going to put on the top. And this is the lovely copper precious. These are Swarovski pearls we're going to put on the bottom. I started out with some like blander colors, and then I was like, ooh, let's go crazy. So all of a sudden I couldn't hear the dog barking anymore. So I was like, oh, okay. Finally settled down. I go out to the parking lot. I can't find my car. Where's my car? I look around there was a tree in the middle of the parking lot, and the car was backed into the tree. So what happened was the corgi was jumping up and down, hit the button on the emergency brake and pushed the actual lever down. And I should have had it in first gear, and I wasn't thinking. And of course, the car rolled. That quieted down the dog. So when I got home, I was telling people, yeah, dog went for a drive today. He drove the car into a tree. Oh my gosh. I was like, what? How is this happening to me? So there's the 4 beads, the 4 11-0s. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So now we're just going to put 11-0s in between the super duos. You can use different color too. I should have pulled out some copper. I mean, the choices are endless with this design too. So there's the second one. Pick up a copper fire polish. So you're coming out of this super duo here. You're going to go into the next one. That. Just like that. Oh yeah, that's going to be pretty. It doesn't look like much now, but when you put it all in, it really looks amazing. There. Another 11-0 in the super duos. Pick up a fire polish. 3mm. That. Very regal. I'm very excited, and I sense that a lot of other people are excited about the Marie Antoinette Curiosities box coming out in about a week. So I'm just going to go quickly now and chit chat. So you can at some point, like for this here, I just put the one side of the thread through here and then started this. You might want to maybe take this thread and go around here when we go to do the other side. The reason being, you kind of don't want the same thread loose throughout the top and the bottom, because it will move and shift. But if you only, like if this is secured in a loop before it adds the other piece, it should prevent that from happening. So go like that. There. Another time, I left the dogs out. I probably should have had those like kennels that you get. So when you go out of the house, you put them in. But when we were growing up, we never had stuff like that for our dogs. Never was an issue. But I also never owned a corgi. So we go out now. The other dog had passed away after the tooth. She had cancer. But so we had a hound dog, which I say a hound dog. It was bred to be a hunting dog. It was black lab and German short-haired pointer, really cute, but so goofy. And then of course the corgis, if you're familiar with them, they're very bossy. Like they're so tiny, they think they're in charge. So the corgi would take the leash of the black lab. So you can imagine tiny corgi, large, fully grown black lab. And the corgi's walking. So we'd go out for walks and people were cracking up laughing at this dog walking, a big dog. But so one time we went out for Thanksgiving and I had some Christmas ornaments out in a box, and they were like apples, and they were like styrofoam with a kind of a plastic coating over it, red. Anyway, we get home and I look at the dogs and their snouts and their paws are all red. Oh, so of course my first thought, they're bleeding, right? and start to investigate, and I'll look around. They had taken every last, I think there was like 36 ornaments in the container. They had taken every one of them out and had gently peeled off all of that like cellophane type coating on the ornaments. Like the styrofoam was not, there were no bite marks, nothing. I was like, oh my God. And how they got into that is beyond me to this day. It was inside like a big shipping box that still had some of our stuff. This is when we were in North Carolina. So it was in like a large box. I didn't know how they got it out of the box. The box was intact. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think we ever did get a kennel. Clearly, I should have. I tell you, I would not have gotten a corgi if I'd have known the amount of energy. They're like Jack Russell Terriers. They're so crazy. I mean, it was fun, but it was a lot of work. High energy. Okay. This is the last of the fire polish side. So I'm just going to put my 11 O's in between the super duos. Then 4 11 O's. Go through the 3 millimeter. And I think I'm going to do a turn here, but just like I said, to secure that strand of beads. So I'm going to go through these 11 O's like that, and then we'll come back around. I'm using a size 12 needle. I kind of have to. I find when you're doing these fanning super duos, my needle gets bent. Unless you are going to go through each one individually. And here, pay attention to this. So you see how the threads curled up? I didn't watch, and in one of the previous ones, I kept beading, and there's like a strand like this, and I wasn't quite sure what to do, so I just got it to go into the hole. You don't want to do that. Okay, something's not moving here. Oh, it's twisted there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to keep going around till I come back to the same spot we started at. And here's the other thing. These 15 O's that I'm using are from AliExpress, and they are like a no-name brand. They're uniform enough to use in a design, but the inconsistency is enough with trying to pass your needle through. It gets a bit sticky, so there's another argument for maybe using, look at how tight that is, using 11 O's instead of the 15. I need to untwist my thread. I think that's what's happening here. When you start passing through a lot of things. So now all we have is a kitty cat. It's like having another person living in the house with you. The only difference, we had a teenager that would get up at 5 a.m. to shower and spend an hour in the shower. And we only had one shower in the house. It was next to our bedroom. Let me tell you, I was so glad when they moved out. You're done college. Bye. Let me help you pack. My first thing I said was, no more boy smell. What I meant by that was I made the silly mistake of suggesting hygiene. This was Jen's son. So I told him, I said, you should get that shower gel, Old Navy shower gel. Is it Old Navy? Yeah. Old Navy shower gel. And so he did. An hour of smelling that is like, oh, gross. Like, it's a little too much. So now we're right back where, so there's our line here. So now we need to add the 4 beads onto this side. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize this is from all the beading, because I push with my finger. I do have a thimble, like a silicone thimble, but I just never getting used to using it. So there's your 4. Go through the top hole of the Super Duo. That. And this will kind of straighten out a bit. Let's see if I can. There. Okay, so now the 11 O's. I'm excited for Halloween. I love watching the little kids come to the door. They're so funny. So what I do is when they come to the door, I try and guess what their costume is. And if I know what the costume is, then I'll comment. And if I know any lines, if it's from a movie, so like Spider-Man and stuff, I'll say whatever line. They're like 4 and 5 years old. They think it's magic that I know what that character is, right? So they're like, Mommy, she knew that it was like this. They're so funny. And then if you get it wrong, they're like, no, that's not it. So now we've got our 4mm copper Swarovski pearls. Let's see. Make sure that this is going to work out. Oh, yeah. Okay, so in our 11 O's. We have a lot of kids in the neighborhood now, but I think part of the reason is we have 3 schools up the hill from us. So there's like a path and there's sports fields on either side. And then there's, 3 schools. So a high school and 2 grade schools. They used to have the PA system. They have speakers on the outside of the building. So in the morning, you hear the bell ring at 9 a.m. and we're retired, right? So I don't want to be woken up at 9 a.m. by a school bell. They used to play "O Canada." You could hear it all the way down the street to our house. I'm like, no. So I guess enough people complained and they stopped doing that. And they actually remember in the summer to turn the PA off and the timer for the bells. Yeah, so funny. Oh, this is looking lovely. Oh, aren't these gorgeous? I'm just having a ball with these. Just 111. If you don't have a 4mm, you could probably add a 6 now that I look at it. But you can always add extra beads too. So you could put, let me see here. Let me see what 4 would do. That might be, so 3 of the 11 O's across like that. And you could, come make another pass and create a peak. And you can always, instead of adding these, you could put like mini daggers here or drops. So there's lots of things you can do. It's kind of endless. That's why I like this design. It just looks so amazing. One of our neighbors, this is so funny. They have like 2 sons that are in their 30s. One just moved out. The other one still lives with them. And both parents are like sci-fi geeks. So like they have the what we call here HalCon. It's like Comic-Con. Both parents are on the board for that. But so for Halloween, their lawn is covered with these animatronic, like there's a headless horseman. It's like the size of a horse. And it moves and says stuff. And there's a whole bunch of things on their lawn. I'm thinking that would be so cool to have parents that are into the same stuff you're into. Back in the day, you hear this coming, right? Back in the day, when I was young, my poor parents' hobby was working. Yeah. Well, that's, a generation of manual labor, right? Worked a lot. And a 4mm pearl. Normally I check my holes before I put them on. Go figure. Wait till the video and then you'll see how many holes are clogged. That I would not be happy. You should check your rhombus beads though. I did notice for all the beading that I've done, I feel like there's a little more than I would expect that there's like either a misshapen one or only one hole. It's not enough that you feel you didn't get your money's worth, especially not since I only paid $5 for that little tub of beads. But you know what I mean. Oh, this is going to be lovely. I am getting ready to start doing some major Christmas gifts. Making. I noticed that I have slowed down in beading since last 6 months to a year. I used to be prolific. I could make maybe 10 things a day. And I started, or shall I say, I stopped beading on the couch because my wife would look over. She'd say, "Are we watching this movie? Or are we beading?" "Yes, we're beading." "I'll go put it away." And then she promptly falls asleep. So don't tell her I said this. She's a NASCAR fan. Normally, she doesn't watch NASCAR when I'm around. Like, not that it's bad or anything. It's just I'm not interested. So, or I'm interested for half an hour. That's my limit. After a couple hours, I'm like, okay, can we put something else on? Anyway, she'll put NASCAR and I'll have my bead tray and I'll say, "No, go ahead. I'm going to do my beads." And she puts it on and like within 5 minutes, she's asleep and snoring. I'm like, okay, I can't do that. I cannot watch NASCAR in one ear and you snoring in the other. Oh my gosh. You didn't know you were coming for the Emma saga. Okay, we're almost done and we're going to put our lovely pearls on. The pearls are Swarovski too. So let's pick up 4 of these 11-0s. 4 11-0s. We're going to go through here. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Oh my gosh. Look at that. So you can see how it's got its little smiley face on. Well, the beads are always happy. Oh yeah, this looks lovely. I feel like I did look to find some of these in 6mm to put on for the pearls. But sadly, all I have are these bright gold Swarovskis. So what I did was I used 25 beads on each strand. So let's put this away first. I'll open this up so you can see how lovely that is. 11-0s. We don't need these anymore. So we'll clean these up. And we'll just move these over here. That. And where's the... Oh, here they are. Okay, so I'm going to make some piles of 25 of these pearls. And as you can see in the corner here, I have 2 extra ones because this is 100 strand. So just be careful. I usually untie it, but for the sake of the video, Let me see how, yeah, and let's adjust the, okay, so there's 5, 10, 15, 20, I paused there because I saw that pearl, but that was the first one I took off. We better double check that. 5, 10, 15, yeah, 25. Yeah, so there was an extra. I'll count it as we put it on. I'm not sure, so. Okay. I am going to put a knot here. So that, like I said, you could go around, but I'm just going to put a knot around this strand and then attach. Get my thread here. A bit of threads everywhere, so. Okay. Oh, that's the one. I see. That's this one here. The stop bead has moved. I'm going to hang on to that. So we got our flu shot and COVID shot on Friday, and we were about half an hour early for our shot, and you get them at the pharmacy. I was so glad they took us right away. When we came out of the office, there was a lineup of people. It's like, I'm glad we came early. Okay, so we're set to go. We're just going to string these on, attach it to the clasp, come back down, go through the beads again. We'll probably use just the one thread for that and then the other side for the other strand. I'm just looking at this. I don't know if this is going to be enough thread. Well, take a look. The other thing that I did do with this is, if you can see here, Swarovski pearls have a nice finished side and then a larger, oh, there's the nice finished side, and a larger hole on the other side. And that's just how the, like how they're coated. So I figure, this is my theory, the finished side should go down because you won't see this top side, but really when they're side by side, you can't see either. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There, that's 25. And we'll see how much thread we have left. Now, you could use like the wire jewelry jewelry wire if you wanted to. But you'd have to figure out a way to attach it here. I guess you could put like a crimp bead here and cover it with a crimp cover. But I kind of wanted this to look like it's part of the design. So, okay, let me bring my thread back. You know what? This would actually do it one more time around. So here's the end of the thread. And let me just double check this to make sure. Always check your clasp to see how hard they are to open. So that one works fine. Some of these I've bought, they're crimped in properly on the inside. So let me show you. This piece here attaches this section. Look how it came off. If you're tempted, I'll tell you, if you're tempted to crimp this a bit, this circle is what's this part's attaching to. So if you go and crimp that, it'll change that part. It'll either not close or it will be so tight you won't be able to open it. So just kind of leave it as it is. Don't do like I do. I did go through some and changed it, and it was like, oh, it was such pain. So because we're going to do 2 strands side by side, and this, if you look at your necklace, the side that's at the bottom is the one with the 4mm pearl. So of course this pearl is on the top. So I want my orientation of my clasp this way. I'm going to pass through the bar from the top end, and you can come right out. Well, maybe not. There we go. Come right out. That. Now, some people I know will take their needle, come out, add a couple of seed beads, and then go through that hole. And what that does is it protects your thread from rubbing on this. So the seed beads will allow the thread to slide through without, doing too much to the thread. So it's going to go through like that. There. You know what? I don't know if that's going to be enough. Let's straighten this out here. I'm going to open this up so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm trying to see if I have enough thread to make a knot. It's just going to be enough. For the sake of the video, I'm going to do this. I will probably restring this. I don't want to give it to anybody and it break. So just go back through the pearls that you added on. Just keep going. And you want to remember too to allow a bit of space on your strand so that the pearls are not really rigid. Now this design can kind of lend to that a little more than, say, a whole strand of pearls that you want to nicely drape down. So coming to the end here, so hang on to this part and then pull with this thread. Make sure you're hanging on to your tail that's coming out of the needle, because it'll just come out. Okay, and then I'm just gonna kind of relax it a bit so that it's not super tight. And we're going to put a knot in this. I think what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to go through, let's go down this way and go through some getting hooked on something here. There we go. And came off my needle. Let's see if I can get that back on. There. I'm going to make sure this is out of the way. I'm going to put the knot here. My needle's bent now. Trying to get these guys over here. Of course it came off again. Yeah, don't like get a new piece of thread. Like there's no point like wrestling with your work. I tend to do it just because of the video. I don't want to be spending a whole lot of time putting new pieces of thread, but let's just get this in through here. Look at what happened. Okay, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to fix this. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I took the stop bead off of this side, strung on the 25 beads plus one, and the reason being just to remind you when we turn this to create that circle, the outside circle is going to be bigger than the inside circle, which means we need an extra purl. So you can see I've added that extra purl right there. And when the clasp goes, you could probably add even more depending on the size of your beads that you're putting on this section and how long your necklace is. This is going to be around 18 inches, so it's going to fall right below your neckline. And yeah, so I'll just show you this part here. Of course, what I did on the lower strand, is we went around that. There's a middle bar here. No, you can see it on the other side. There's a middle bar. So we went up one side of the middle bar into the other. They're basically going to be pretty much side by side. So we can go through the same bar to secure it, or you can secure it through the bar next to it. But I just want to be careful that they're not separated like that. So I think I'm going to use the same bar. So I'm just going to go on one side of the bar and come out on the other side. And just to prevent it from jumping, actually, no, you know what? Let's do it the other way. I was going to say, to prevent it from flipping over this pearl, let's do it this way. It shouldn't make that much of a difference, but just to be safe, it's going to sit on that side of the pearls we already have on there. So now I'm just going to run through all those pearls again. Now I'm going to go through, here, let me fix this here. So I'm going to go through all these pearls, and I'm going to go through this probably between 2 and 3 times. You probably don't need that much reinforcement for this, but I kind of want this necklace to really last a long time. I would hate for somebody to lose their pearls that I made them. So again, I'll pause it and I'll do the other side as well, and you can see the final to this. I'll be right back. I'm back. So it's all done. I've gone through these a few times, and yeah, so it turned out really nice and super easy to make. So there you go. There's that one. And this one. And then this one here. These lovely necklaces that you can make with the rhombus beads. So there you go. Thanks for joining me, and I will put all the links in the description for the wholesale stores, and I'll see if I can copy and paste the classes. If you're in the area, it'd be great to do some of these classes. There you go. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.